Hello. I figured I haven't streamed in a while, and I found a thing that I can do for work, but also stream about it. So, um, this is our admin page for agents, and some of those pages are have like lazy loading boundaries. So if I go here, it needs to load like few more things, and if you're deploying a new version, that file could have been renamed or whatnot. So it's going to crash. So um, that's why I don't want to add like more lazy boundaries, even though it will like improve the performance. But you will see those like lazy boundary errors more often. So I figured kind of like first step in dealing with that is if it will just show some message, hey, like new version of the application has been released, and at least you know that it's like if it's going to crash after I saw that message, that's why, right? And so let's figure out how we're going to do this. And um, I think the first thing is we used to do that in same room IO. And the way that we were doing that is version. Yeah. Uh, hmm. It's not exactly that thing that I was thinking about. Yeah. Where is it? Okay. Did they change something, or am I thinking about something else? I haven't worked with this company for 3 years, so I don't expect everything to be exactly the same as we left it. But there was clearly like a JSON object. Okay, so if it wasn't for same room, who was it then? Well, okay. So the idea was that in uh, in the inside of the index HTML, like if you're doing create React app, you have index HTML. So in that index HTML, you can have some text, and we would basically fetch index HTML from time to time because it's not that a that of a big file. It's like single page app, right? It just and it used to be a bit smaller. Right. Um, it's it was like okay, let's fetch index.html file from time to time, and if it's changed, if we got like a new version number, let's just show a user that new version was released. So this is what I want to play with the same idea, but now we're using Astro, so we can be more more advanced. Um, we could have just like a endpoint or something like that that will do this. So in the simple case, let's say we have index Astro here that is like loading our app. If we add something here, uh, is it going to show up? Oh, I'm not running Astro right now. That's happens sometime. Okay. Yep. So you have this 1, 2, 3 anywhere? I wonder if it should be like inside of the body or stuff. Oh, I'm editing the wrong file probably. I need SPA Astro. Okay. Yes. So I can embed stuff in the in this file, and that could be a thing. But I could also just create a file like slash um, I don't know, slash API slash version, right? Something like that. And okay, so if you just joined, what I said is that I basically have this application. Okay, have I broke something? Oh, oh, pretty broken. Okay. Basically, I have this application, and I wanted to show in UI when new version was deployed. Uh, Sometimes that could be uh, in the one of the apps that we worked before. We used to show like kind of like change logs and stuff. So maybe we can do that, but at the minimum, we should show that new version was released. So I figured that's a cool thing that I can stream about and like build for production. Okay, so let's figure out. Oh yes, it's still like this depth stuff again. Uh, I don't know what's happening, but like sometimes uh, Vite, QGP, and like Astro just mess up each one's um, caches and yeah, break stuff. uh, Oops. Okay, so go here. Is it going to work? Yes. Uh, okay. So now I do some kind of like requests from time to requests for like, hey, did I get uh, like new invites or something like that? And I can also just check version from time to time. So uh, let's start probably with this. That seems like a oh, it doesn't work in Astro. Uh, okay, let me figure out if I can run like a Vite session at the same time. That could be fun, or would it be fun? Okay, we can figure out if that could be fun. We do deploy server and client applications separately. So our server is written in Elixir, so it's a bit easier to handle all of that stuff when you're doing like Next.js, where server and client are kind of like the same. So we can't like go to server and ask, "Hey server, what is your version?" So we need to figure out something in between, and that's where like Astro is going to be used. Um, so I wonder if I can. Uh, I wonder if I can start second Vite version. Okay, I'm not probably going to do that, but should I? Seems like a diversion. Uh, oh yeah, let's not do it for now. So let's just find this thing. Uh, and if I add something here, it will show up here. Okay, so we need to add it somewhere higher. add it here. Yeah, you see that when I update stuff, it causes the full page reload. That's because we are now in Astro land, which is how their HMR works. Okay, so here we can show like the message of like a new version checker, and in Astro is this React. Yeah, so uh, this is going to be a long detour, but uh, what? Okay, I'm figuring where I should start explaining that. Here's like the thing that I just posted is we had create React app application. So a single page application. We came up with this kind of like stack with like Elixir on backend and React on the front end in like 2014. So like when we eventually migrated to create React app, it was so cool because so many things like started to work and stuff. So um, but in like 2023, it's a bit silly to be running on CRA. So we just by switching from CRA to Veed or Astro, which is kind of like the same thing for this discussion, we saw like a immediate like performance improvement. And now with Astro, we can use like SSG, we can use Party Town, all of the other like Astro integrations that are uh, that are possible to set up in Veed, but it's basically you're building your own Astro at that point, and it's like why? So um, this basically approach of so CRA is not recommended to use in production. Uh, I mean, like we used it in production just 2 months ago, so it would be a bit like disingenuous for me to say, "Hey, never use it in production." I wouldn't start a new project with CRA. It's a bit a shame of that, like all the tutorials, or like if you ask like ChatGPT, "Hey, how do I start React app?" and they will tell you, "Hey, do CRA." Uh, so I'm basically building this thing that is going to be kind of like a CRA replacement. So if you're um, instead of create React app, you're doing like create QGP, and you would use like this template, like minimal template, and it's going to be uh, so it's going to have this thing where it's like, hey, turn on my app. And this app is going to be regular kind of like CRA looking thing. You can add your React router. You can add kind of like basically everything that you would like follow your your tutorial for. And I don't know if I'm doing this in this template, but uh, I can even like keep all the like file names the same as in CRA, so you wouldn't be like kind of like confused. So I think that's uh, oops. So I think it's called, yeah, this one. It's like, hey, here's your app CSS, here's your app TSX. So it's like it's exactly the same thing, but it's built with like Astro and Veed, and that's basically what we did at work. Is we kept kind of like the same thing. We just um, started using this approach instead. So that means when you go to like fogmanager.com slash admin, that page, it's like SPA. So this is like some analytics scripts and stuff. And here's the like uh, here's like the thing that turns on the. Okay, I need to turn on wrapping. Yeah, so it's like, hey, open that React app. So it doesn't have anything else. It just has like, please turn on. Where is it? Yeah, please turn on JavaScript. So it's literally the same thing. But now that we have Astro, we can do more fun stuff. And QGP is basically just like kind of like the name of this approach is like, hey, how do I get kind of like HMR in Astro? And it's actually like a bit of a layer of compatibility if you are migrating from existing CRA app, because you need basically those kind of like special values that create React app code like expects. But uh, and I think it's just like two Vite plugins that you also need. So QGP, the package, it allows you to use. It does two things. So the first thing, it allows you to use Astro in Vite at the same time, and the second thing is it allows you to use your existing CRA um, uh, code inside of Astro and Vite. So at work we use both. And I just kind of like, I'm trying to open source this thing that we're using at work, and this is what it is right now. But it can do fun stuff. So this is the demo that I like to show. When I go to, like, this is Astro app. So if I click between like home, docs, and FAQ, you see that it's showing loading spinner, and it's like, yeah, it's full page navigation, everything is reloaded and stuff. But here I can go between docs, and yeah, it's a lot of proxy down stuff. Let me remove proxy down left. So when I go between pages, I just get like the partial for this page. So you see that it starts with like create stuff. So it's like from here, but the rest of the page is staying the same. So you see that I can navigate between pages, but like my selection is is not even lost. We are not using this at work, but this is just to showcase like how um, what kind of apps you can build in this architecture. And in some sense, it's really close to what Reactor components are doing with like all of the new kind of like fancy things they're doing, but it's kind of like much simpler. Maybe it's not because you're using like two different technologies at the same time instead of like one technology, which is just like looks like two different technologies. But I don't know. I just wanted to show it off that it's a thing. Anyway, so we're using QGB uh, at Fogbender, and I like Astro. I think it's kind of like a cool thing. And the good news is that like 10 stack, 10 stack start and solid start, they're going to be migrating to Astro as well. They're going to use this like similar to QGP technology. So I'm no longer going to be the only crazy guy who's doing that. There's going to be like more crazy guys, and they will kind of like validate some of my like some of my approaches. Anyway, so let's build this thing, and it's new version checker, and it's going to be checking versions. We can uh, we can use React query probably, and it's going to be like, do we have a new version, right? And it could be like a version number, and if I have a if I don't have a new version, I guess I need to have like an old version as well. So old version. And yeah, because now we use Astro, we can do stuff like environment variables and stuff like that. And we can probably do some kind of there's like React. How do you call it? React server components, right? So where you can you can do you can run some code in like build time on on the server and like store it somewhere. So we can pass that version in React query initial data. You can like if you have some value that you got from the server, you don't have to like check it right away. You're like, hey, I just opened this page. I know that like I'm in the last version. But I don't know if we will get to that. But let's say that like old version is something like that, and we will get a new version somehow. And now if new version uh, is not the same as old version, we can show uh, new versions available. Okay, good job, Copilot. And else null. Yes, so far so good. uh, okay, so it should show right now that new version is available because it's what do I want to say? Because like this is undefined and this is substring, so we need to figure out the initial values. But for now, let's figure out the colors. So here it's red 500, and here it's red 500. Okay, let's say that it's fine for now. So what should happen if I see new version available? I should probably click on it, and it should do something like window reload. Good job, Copilot. I think it's getting better. It's like it's getting sentient. Okay, I even have some outlines. Okay, so I click on it, it loads. I need to prevent default because uh, it shows the or probably like stop propagation, because otherwise it like the it shows this like menu, but I should be able to click on it without it showing up. Okay, so this is kind of like the basic thing that we need to be able to show this thing. So now the question is, how do we know if we got a new version? Uh, so, okay. So I have 3 applications in this monorepo, and like they're all take some time to build. I think like vendor demo is like the fastest to build. So maybe I should play with vendor demo with this. So the vendor demo is this port, and so demo app tsx. So now if I'm here and I wanna like run fetch, uh, fetch, oops, okay, something like that, and let's catch everything, and let's uh, console log it. Okay, so this is going to be our testing stuff. Okay, it's crashing too much. React is not defined. How is it not defined? Okay, so we got something, and it probably returns to us like our like just our SPA stuff, uh, which is fine because okay, hmm, not entirely sure what I should be doing here. Uh, so it's going to be API version. Guess let's like if uh, JSON in res, let's console log JSON. Okay, and right, so it should be then console log. Okay, right. So it can't JSON it because that's just our SPA stuff is doing. Uh, I'm not sure I like API because it's not API, it's something that we do during SSG. So I wonder if we just call it SSG. So now let's go back here uh, and in our pages, where's our pages? Our pages, we can create a file. Okay, not entirely sure how that should work. Let's create a folder called SSG and let's create a file that is like, I think that's the syntax. So let's create an Astro file and says hello. So if I refresh, I now get um, a page again, but this page is actually of the error message. um, and it's complaining because we're using SSG. Uh, uh, so we could just rename the file to a version. That's going to be the simplest solution. So now it doesn't know how to parse it still because it's not a JSON. It's like this HTML document, uh, which is fine. Now the question is, how do I how do I return like a JSON? So if I rename this file to, um, I think it's like version JSON dot TypeScript, something like that, and then hmm, I forgot. Let's see the new shiny Astro website, uh, and let's go to docs and let's see JSON. I can import JSON. Okay, but it's not what I asked. JSON. Customer routes. Okay, it's not it. So it's like response something something. uh, also not it. Okay, do they have it in astro.new API or something? I don't like this stuff because it's like it's not immediately clear how to discover the stuff that I'm looking for. It's like pages and all of those are .astro, but this one is .ts. So, and it's like, hey, I'm doing a post request. And And this one is async. Okay. Okay. So this is cart.ts. This is id.ts. Okay, so let's start with that and figure out if that works for SSG. uh, Maybe I don't even need JSON stuff. I feel like I saw it from somewhere. So let's say that it returns product 1, 2, 3. Okay. Uh, Oops. If one, then okay. So I have this version JSON. Now I go back here and I will ask for version.json. Okay. So what do we got here? Okay, we actually get the response. So now let's kill all of that stuff. Let's build it in a production build so that we can test how that works in a production build. Because who knows? So what we expect is that inside of vendor demo dist, we created SSG version JSON file that has this information. Okay, so this is like exactly what it was. This is exactly what I was going for. So even though this thing looks like it's running on the server, it's like responding with stuff, but we just run it during the build and it just generates a JSON file, which is all that we need. So we know that we don't need any of this response stuff because it's not going to work in SSG. And okay, so what's happening here? No empty parent. Okay, is that better? Okay. So as long as we create this exact same thing there, it should work. And it should like parse and stuff. Okay, if I build it, let me also preview it. So I have this preview, and we got this JSON. So everything, everything is as it should be. We can, or rather, we should, but okay. So let's go back to dev. So now I know that this works. I can create the same thing in storefront now. So copy vendor demo SSG rather, and copy it into storefront src pages. Okay. Okay, that's from the another branch. Let's ignore it. So I have this thing. Now that means that I can run this request. I can do version query equals use query version, and it's going to be reg slash API stuff get JSON. Okay, so far so good. So what's wrong with this one? Yeah, it doesn't exist on the void. Okay, why is it void? Oh, Yeah, TypeScript playing again. Okay, so okay. So import reg. Okay, and so now we need to use this query somehow, and this seems like a as good a use as any. Let's go back here. So what do we have here? Okay, so it's not found. Okay, and uh, that's not good. Okay, and so why isn't it found? Version.json. So it seems like we're doing this stuff that we should be doing. Oh yeah, we're running beat again probably. Yeah. I mean, we would need to be, uh, we would need to make it like QGP aware. uh, okay, and now we broke caches again. Okay, I clearly need to figure out why QGP is not doing caches. So it's qgp.config here, and where we have beat here, there's a cache here, and it should be QGP cache, for example. So now if I remove all of this stuff again, and if I start dev, yeah, I wonder how we're breaking it. There's actually a way to make it work in Vite. If you're running Vite and Astro at the same time, I have like other examples that are doing working like that. So for example, my QGP uh, GPT thing, like this thing, um, it's is that what I'm thinking about? Yes. So um, in QGP config, I have basically like a proxy. So when Vite is running, it knows that so this API is handled by Astro, so it can connect to kind of like to the main base. We're not using this for Fogbender because we already in the monorepo we're already running 3 applications. So like if we will run Vite and Astro at the same time, it's going to be like 6 applications. But it is possible, and it's a fun stuff. Okay, so let's go back to where we were here. Uh, so we were running Vite, and now the question is, in storefront, it created QGP folder, so that's fine. Hmm. I wonder if it's the build that is doing something crazy. It's QGP folder. Why isn't it QGP cache folder like I called it? Okay, so here it tries to do QGP cache, even though okay, so it should have been here maybe. Oh yeah, I think I have like a broken. Okay, so let's remove it again. Let's let's start dev. So it's not even. Hmm. Okay. So storefront modules dot. Okay. It didn't create that folder, or oh, it didn't create it inside of node modules. Oops. Okay. I mean, okay. I don't care that much. But now, if I do start, okay, it's trying to do dot feed. Yeah. If anyone from Vite or or Astra knows what is even happening here, I see this error all the time. So it tries to create .vid file, even though we are running Astro. So it's like, why are you doing this with .vid and not .astro? But now rename. Okay. What will happen if I just create this folder? Okay. And the other one is steps. Yeah, that's what you get for like using technologies that simplify stuff. At some point, you just have no idea what's happening underneath. So let's remove everything. Let's remove this as well. Okay, so let's do start. I think I need to open like a different page. I think I now remember. It's like if I open some other page first. Yeah, I have this error like from time to time, and like I have no idea how it works. Okay, so this page works. Uh, this page works. Now if I go to this page, it also works. Yeah, so some kind of, I guess some kind of like incompatible module that is on this page that messes everything up. But anyway, so we have all of that stuff. I see a lot of re-rendering. Uh, we might be needing React memo just because why do you need to re-render this thing so much? Okay, so now it should be getting it again when like focuses when you like lose and get the focus. So like other ones, um, we can improve that behavior if we Yeah, so what's the latest cool way of doing that? I think they're doing something like query query something, query function, query key. Is that the latest is that the latest fun way of writing that? Uh, and now we can do stale time of, like, we don't deploy all the time. There is no need to check it too often. So as long uh, as long as we are checking every like 5 minutes or something. So and yeah, I hope it's 5 minutes. Okay, so yeah, so we are not rechecking it every time. Now let's figure out the let's figure out the versions. We don't have like a public facing version numbers. So if you go here, it's like, yeah, it's just some hash, right? It's not really like a version number. Um, so we need to figure out how we're going to do that. One thing we can do is to use like a date or something. It's like, hey, new version from today was released. Um, so the other thing is like, where do we get this initial value of old version, and to check that it changed. Uh, so one option is to use some kind of like server generated code, and how do I do that? We are not running SSR for these pages, so the only thing that is getting SSR is like this, and we could like uh, even like do something like that, like window dot like old version equals 123, right? So that this script, uh, when it's reading it, it could also read like window old version. So it's like 123, 123. It now knows that. Uh, so global variables are fine and good. Everyone should use them. And maybe that's not that bad of idea. So how do I do that? How bad of an idea is it? That's the first thing, right? Is it really bad idea, or is it really good idea? So alternative is to pass all of that through props and like create I don't know, like Jotai item or something. I don't know. Um, we could use environment variables because those get compiled into the thing. And I think before we go fixing this, we should figure out how to actually get the version number. So when we're building thing, we have uh, those like environment variables, but running on dev, we don't have them. And running on dev, we also don't even have Astro. And that means that, okay, so if I run dev, it won't be able to get that version number. So it will be like 404. And I actually, um, in one project, I needed to be able to like distinguish if we're running in Astro or if we're running in Veed. And I think the way to distinguish it is with um, in in import meta env. So this is the stuff that Veed has. So first of all is I can check like if dev is true, but I'm pretty sure it's true for Astro as well. So let's see. Yeah, so that was true, but we don't have this site. Um, we don't have this site value in Veed. So that's how we can check if that's if we're running on Veed and if this version checker even needs to run. So we can do something like if oh yeah, that's going to be conditional hooks. I guess like here. Uh, so if import meta and site, if we have it, run a version checker. So it's going to be running on Astro, but on dev, it's not going to be running. So we don't have this 404 error anymore. Uh, yeah, I wonder how that. I wonder what that compiles into though. But maybe I don't worry about it too much. Okay. So that's fine. So now we go back to our version JSON. So here, like, can we read the file, right? Because what we do in Netlify here is we go and like and read a package.json file, and I guess like we're running git command here. So right. So what's the way? Um, node run command like git version command. child process, exec process, not util, child process. Why do you need util? Promisify. Okay. Sure. Okay, so let's start here, I guess. Import something from something. Import. Okay. Exec. Is that is that how it works? Okay. Okay. So yeah, so it has some stuff. It has exec. Let's get on file. Okay. Is that the real thing? Okay. I don't know how to deal with that, so I will just ignore whatever's happening right now. So we can have child, and that child can do exec sync. And if I do exec sync, yeah, something like that, going to be a hash version. Okay. Uh, do I need that? Do I really need that? Because, well, technically, I should be able to get this like a version from environment variable. Okay. Uh, this sounds like a lot of fun anyway. So, so if I have, do I have console log import meta and okay, I do. So SSR true, okay. Profile meta base 0, okay. So that all of that is fine. And now if I have public SHA, const env version equals this. Now okay, I guess let version. So if not version, then do all of this stuff. And now let's do version. Okay, I should probably like limit it to the some like characters. Okay, I also need to trim it. Okay, and yeah, Copilot here just reading my reading my mind. Okay, so that's what we have here. Now So first of all, it's not that bad if you're going to get that file all over, like, or over and over. It's like on CDN, it's cached and all that stuff. So we're not going to die if we're going to get it too often, but it doesn't feel like we should be getting it. So, uh, okay, so if not TS ignore, it should be like declare module not child and something like that. Okay, now I'm more concerned. Okay, so I have like a this. Will that work? Yeah, I think it will. Okay, so we can do this. And how much do we want to optimize the initial load case? We're not going to get initial load too often in like SPA, right? It's like that's what you do in SPA. But on the other hand, they kind of like we already know that value. Why do we need to do it again and again? And so if I get all this stuff there, I do this, and if I do version equals get version, okay. So now if I go back here and if I do fog version, and here I do, I'm not sure I can do it this way. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 works, but how do I make it? And something like that. How do I make it like here? Any? Why is it any? Is it any? Wow. Okay. So should be string here. Why is it string but not string or undefined? Okay, this is concerning, but uh, hmm. Yeah, because it has to be string here, but it could be empty string. So if it's an empty string, let's do undefined. Now it's string or undefined. Okay, this sounds better. Okay, so let's just do version. Okay, so we have this version, and now the question is, how do I turn it into a script? So let's go to new fancy Astro website. Let's do script parameters or data. right to script. So this data set. Okay, so what's happening here? Store the message prop as a data attribute. Okay, so that's a custom component. I don't need custom components for this stuff, but I can try to do data version equals version, and I can try to find that script now. Version. Okay, I need word wrap again. Okay, so here it is. We have the version. Now, if I do this dataset version, yes, and so fog. Cannot read properties of undefined reading version. So not this. It's this here. Okay, so let's console log this, I guess. Oh yeah, it could be that it's using like yeah, this is this foreign script or something. It seems like it was inlining stuff, so I don't know why it's not working. Okay, so let's so this current script. Okay, this current script document current script. Oh yeah, okay. That's that version. Yes. Yeah, this is a lot of characters for this, of course, but this version. Okay, so I wish there was a easier way, so I'm going to give up a bit and say that this is the easiest way. Let me try to declare, I think it's like interface window string or undefined. Okay, so now knows that to the string here. And now here, when I get old version, I can just do window dot log version. Okay, I'm still getting this thing, which is a bit concerning. Oh, because new version is undefined. Yeah, so new version is this. Okay, so now if I don't know, like change fork version to something else. I need to cause to I need something to cause to re-rendering. Let me remove the stale temp for a second. Okay, so now if I reset it to something random, yeah, it shows new version available. Okay, I think that's cool. I'm not going to be able to open source any of that stuff, but we created a page. Where is it? We created a page that is reading environment variable or reading Git commits. We can uh, we can reuse that to get we can reuse that function to get data in SSR, and we can uh, compare that like SSR version with the version that we are getting from API. And when the new deployment happens, the value that we have in index HTML, right? That's like hard coded value is going to be different from the value that like new version of version.json provides. So it will trigger, hey, you got a new version. Then it's just a question of like playing with those stale time values. So it's like it doesn't check it too often. It doesn't check it like too rare. And then you can play with like adding more data into that JSON file. So maybe like, hey, this is a new feature that we added, and you can actually kind of like do it manually, right? So you could just like go ahead and like features, right? And as long as you're keeping the track of like updating those features for each release, it will actually have like the right value for every deploy. And yeah, and it will show up like a button, hey, you got a new version, and people hopefully know what that means. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks everyone who was hanging out, and yeah, hopefully you'll get more Astro content from me soon. Bye.